This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Come on in to Toyota of Hollywood, where curiosity and extraordinary deals await you. Your golden ticket buys a 2025 Corolla, not $26,000, $17,988. And we've got sweet deals with 0% financing for 72 months, 0 down. Enter our world of wonder, and we'll show you why we're the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard on a beautiful Tuesday, April 21st. A blessing to be here. As always, day number 19,091 since our beloved Miami Dolphins won the World Championship. We need Sully and half to rebuild it. We need it. Well, it starts on Thursday, right? So we'll see if they can get it going in the right direction. The Canes, today is day number 8,874 since our Canes we're national champions. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got, let's see, Bitcoin at 75,773. So hovering right around there, a little bit of that's a dip actually right now. And the markets, I know we're in the green. We opened up around 211 points up, and it is, looks like it's still green. Very resilient. The markets have been very resilient. And so at least we're still in the green. I'm waiting for the refresh here because every time I pull it up, I got plus 211. But, it could be plus 280, 300. I don't know. It could be plus 100. Could have shifted in the whole deal. So anyway, we got that going on. We've got some draft stuff that keeps developing, which is just kind of weird. And especially when you've got the 11th pick in the draft and it's a lot of stuff going on. We got to talk about this. There's an old song from Jimi Hendrix that was called Crosstown Traffic, which is actually one of my favorite songs of his. And there's a lot of crosstown traffic going on right now with the Dolphins and the 11th pick, and we got to talk about that also because it's just kind of it's almost some of the horrors of the past could be haunting you in the present. By the way, we are up 358. See, that's why it changes. The S&P is up 21, and the Nasdaq is up a point, just over a point. All right. Knicks lost yesterday. That was crazy, actually. Watching some of the basketball last night, I was like, wow, that's Atlanta stealing one there. That was interesting. What else do we have? T-Wolves and Nuggets are tied at 1 in that one after last night's game. So we'll give you some of the scores. We'll talk about the games for tonight. Obviously, we got some football tomorrow because Inter Miami is back in action. Fort Lauderdale United is back in action tomorrow on the road to take on the DC Power. And later on in the afternoon, Jules Cagle. You'll get to see the interview with Jules Cagle, the defender. Even though she played midfield this past week, but she's more of a defender. She'll join us, and you'll get to see the interview there drop on the platform later on this afternoon. So check that out also. Appreciate it. As always, support the ladies, and make sure you hit the like button also. Hit the like button here, man. Hit the like button. Get them algorithms going, as we always tell you. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can also use the QR codes that we have there and send in your questions and comments and insults and all kinds of good stuff. And we always appreciate that. So you can do that. Just use the QR codes for Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate it. Many ways to support us besides visiting our amazing sponsors that keep us alive and well every single day. All right, can't wait for this draft. I got to admit, I'm not the guy that makes stuff up for you guys. Like I get it in radio or writing, you have to extend stuff and try to come up with some creative stuff, like mock drafts and all that. And it's funny. I've never been a mock guy myself, but it's been so slow that it's just hard to what's there to talk about? You know what I'm saying? It's like the Panthers are done. The Heat are done. There's like nothing to talk about. We're waiting football-wise. There's like nothing really concrete until we get the draft. And then at least we can start to talk about something. You know what I mean? We got spring football, but we're really waiting for the season to start because that's obviously where it's where things really matter. It's been tough. I got to tell you, to do sports talk right now, it's tough. It really is, because there's not like a lot of real tangible stuff, juicy stuff that you can bite into. The one topic I have about the Dolphins today, that's actually a really important subject because it's kind of screwed up for us. You know what I'm saying? And so definitely got to talk about that because it's kind of weird, the situation that Miami is in. And it's funny because it's coming off of one of my predictions yesterday that got kind of screwed. My prediction got kind of screwed. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I see on the chat board there, NorCal as always. He's puffing and having some fun. Cosa Nostra, I see you there. Oscar, good morning to you. The Jaybird is in the house. Looking forward to Fort Lauderdale United, I see, on Wednesday. Yeah, I hope Bain drops to 11 too. I am with you on that one. All Miami. Let's see. Jeff in Long Island. Lenny Pena. Jamie Zoria out in San Jose. NorCal, was it Rivian? Let's freaking go. Yeah, you'll be fine. Rivian is one hell of a company. Just got to be patient and hang in there. And, you know how it is. In investments, you got to be patient and you got to deal with the rough waters. You know what I'm saying? And with the Orange Man, we got a lot of rough waters. So you just got to kind of hang in there and then hope that everything turns around. Think Blue Dodgers is checking in. I see Ty in the Bronx. Appreciate you guys out there. Let's see. Anyway, so good stuff. I appreciate all of you out there. By the way, Victor Wembanyama yesterday winning Defensive Player of the Year. Youngest player to ever do it at 22. I'm watching the lines tonight. You got the Celtics favored by 14.5. You got the Spurs favored by 11.5. And then the interesting one is Houston. They're favored by 4.5, but I don't know what the hell is going to go on with Durant because it's like a game-time decision. And the Lakers stole the first one. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting. It's hard. I'm almost, you know what I always tell you when you play, it's better the live line. Tonight is a night for live lines and take advantage. Yeah, that's what it is. Like if the Celtic one gets completely out of control, then you can take the Sixers and maybe they come in and get a backdoor cover for you or something like that. Because, dude, it's already at 14.5. You got to hope it goes to like 20, 22 or something and take it. And then the Celtics sit some guys in the fourth quarter and the Sixers come back a little bit and they backdoor cover for you, something like that. That tonight is kind of tough to play. To bet in the NBA. I would suggest tonight, not that I'm a betting expert, of course, but I would suggest live betting for tonight. Let's see. What else do we have going on? David Furones will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk a little Miami Dolphins with him. The draft. Dwight Stevenson is going to announce the second-round selection of the draft, the 43rd pick of the draft for the Miami Dolphins, which is cool to have Dwight out there. God, he was such an amazing player, dude. He was so fun to watch, how he could just stop people in their tracks. Man, the power of Dwight Stevenson was impressive, dude. Impressive. So we get 8 picks in the first round. 8 minutes in the first round between picks, down from 10. We get 7 minutes in the second round. We get 5 minutes between picks in rounds 3 through 6 and 4 minutes in the 7th round. For us, all the stuff that I've done in the past, not even close to what I'm doing nowadays. I will only do a recap at the end of each round, okay? Or each day. Like on Thursday, it'll be after the first round. On Friday, it'll be after the second and third rounds. Well, maybe not. Maybe I could do one after the second because it takes so long, and then another one after the third. That's probably what I can do. And then the third day, I definitely will just do one show on that day, and do a recap on that one. I told you guys I have dialed it back. Next week, I'll bring in a bunch of interviews to kind of recap the draft and all that. This year, I didn't want to do any previews. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? These guys have to prove to me that they're worth making more. And the Dolphins have to prove to me it's me. I have to put more work into it because I'm just not. You know what I mean? Just not. It's not worth it. I'm not going to waste my time like I have for 30 something years. So I'm more at a point now where I'd rather not. And I can talk about anything I want anyways. It doesn't really matter. It's not like anybody's like outpacing me on the Dolphins or anything like that. So it's not a big deal. But we will get people next week to come on and give their opinions on the draft and all of that. But again, we got to see if Jeff and John are the guys. You know what I mean? We're going to find out this year. We're going to find out. We're going to start getting a taste of it. And by next year, sometime by next year, mid-year, by the end of the second year, we will have some kind of a feel and we'll say, okay, we got the guys. So I think we can build, or we're going to be feeling pretty shaky about it. You know what I mean? Like always. It happened with Flo. It happened with Gase. It happened with Mike McDaniel. By the second year, things started to sour because you get to kind of see the picture of what it's going to be. You know what I mean? The first year is kind of a facade, and we've been fooled by the first year with a lot of coaches. But that second year is where you really end up finding out, okay, what direction are we going in? And then that's when we'll know if Jeff and John are actually the guys. We've had the guys that can say all the right things and all that kind of stuff, but it's actually exercising it and getting it done is what we need. You know what I mean? And that's the part that we're waiting for. That's the part you're dying for. That's the part I'm dying for. You know what I mean? So this year I didn't want to do a lot of preview stuff because it's hot air. Plus we don't even know who they are. We don't even know what they do. We don't even know what their MO is. And, it's funny watching, people kill themselves about mock drafts. And it's like, all that is just a bunch of guessing. There's no rhyme or reason to any mock draft because there's no way you can think like 32 different, general managers in war rooms. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of difficult to do, kind of difficult to pull off. You know what I'm saying? So let's hope that that things get a little better and we get excited about Dolphin football the way we should be excited about Dolphin football. You know what I'm saying? Because that's been I have to be honest, that's my problem now. It's really my problem now that I have a hard time getting up for it now and getting excited because I've been let down so much that it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're going to have to convince me that you're the guy before I get excited again. Not going to, we've done this whole thing where you get excited for the guy for the first year and all that. And then we get, completely taken down after. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I cannot do that anymore. No way. No way, no how. Lenny says, good morning, Sean, and all of you out there. Ruben Bain is there at number 11. Hope Sully doesn't screw it up and take another player. The guy's going to be special. Let's hope so. Let's hope he's there. I'm afraid he's not because after all the talk, they're going to see what you see, Lenny, what I see, what many of you see, that Ruben Bain is just one of those dudes, bro. And if you pass up a guy like that, you're changing you have a shot at changing the direction of your team and adding a stud leader for a long time. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. Think Blue Dodgers checking in, I see. What do we got here? Dolphin Dave, he was the best center in football. Dwight, yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Dolphin Dave just says, give me 2 starting linemen. Dolphin Dave, it's funny because you look at the title of the show today, and it says the number 11 pick in the draft and has a lot of controversy surrounding it, right? A lot of controversy and confusion is what I put on it. And the reason why I said that, it's because yesterday I gave you a prediction of what I want at 11. And I told you, obviously, I want Ruben Bain. I've told you guys from the get-go that I want Ruben Bain. And if Ruben Bain is not there, I will take Maui Noah. So now we've got the whole Maui Noah thing and the whole back thing. Is it an issue? Is it not? He went and got rechecked. Supposedly he got a green light. And then, now we get is it Schefter, Pelissero, whichever one, I forgot. So they throw that stuff out there. So is that an issue now? And then I told you guys that if Bain and Maui Noah are gone, the guy I like is Jermod McCoy, the corner from Tennessee. Now it comes out. Let me see if I can pull up the story, because something about a butt plug or something like that, right? He needs a butt plug or something. I'm joking, but it is a plug. Let's see. Last year McCoy missed because of an ACL. He's a hell of a player, right? But now they say he could miss extensive time in 2026. Pelissero reports that the medical staffs are concerned that McCoy could need another surgery to repair a bone plug, not butt plug, bone plug. In McCoy's knee, the bone plug was used to repair cartilage defect. See, now you tell me this, and now, so my man, I don't care about an ACL. You can come back from an ACL. People do that all the time. That's not a big deal. Now you got like cartilage defect. So now I'm sitting here at 11, and I'm thinking, okay, so Bain is gone. Well, Maui Noah. I love Maui Noah, but wait a minute, what about that back thing? Okay, well, I love McCoy. Well, wait a minute, what about this butt plug? Like, what's going on here? I don't really want to take a receiver at 11. I think that's stupid if you're the Dolphins. I think that would be so Dolphins. Because, by the way, it's not Green Bay. But then again, they haven't done things necessarily the Green Bay way sometimes here. So they are doing things their own way. So now I'm looking at it, I'm going, well, I got to change here. I got new information. Butt plugs and all, I can't do this. So no McCoy for me anymore. Now I'm still going to go Ruben Bain. I'm still going to go Maui Noah. But then give me the Vegan Ione kid or whatever. He's a road grader from Penn State. Guard. You need a guard. We need a right guard next to Austin Jackson. That's what I would do. That would be my third option. Remember, I told you this. I watched Ryan Tannehill run for his life and get hit a lot. And sometimes he got hit because he's stupid. He's got that scatterbrain bullshit that once things go awry, if it's not on schedule for him, he's done. So he took a lot of sacks that he wasn't supposed to, plus the sacks that the line gave up. Took a lot of hits. Tua had a terrible line also, and then also took other hits that he didn't have to take because he was stupid, thinking he's some kind of a football player. Anyway, as I've told you, and I've stayed steadfast on this, okay, you went and signed Malik Willis. You clearly think Malik Willis is a franchise quarterback. That's what you're telling me. Okay, if you believe in him, well, then protect his ass, please. Because if you're right, even though I may not believe in Malik and think that I don't think he's a franchise guy. But I do know this, if you want your franchise guy to survive and to thrive and to have success, the five guys in front of him have to be able to block. So get me Maui Noah if you can't get Bain, and get me Ione or whatever it is, Vega, Ione or whatever, the Penn State kid. I don't know how it's pronounced. But, get me that then. Protect Malik. Okay? Because if you really believe he's the guy, there's one thing I know. Every quarterback, even Pat Mahomes, if you don't protect him, you're not going to get anywhere you really want to get to. And the Kansas City Chiefs have had a kind of team that can win a Super Bowl, and what stopped them was the offensive line from winning the Super Bowl. So, yeah, and that's, even though I know that some of you out there think that Pat Mahomes wins it all by his lonesome, but that's kind of what it is. So there's a lot of confusion and controversy now when you think about it at 11, because if Ruben Bain is gone, so then do we take Jordan Tyson? So now you're taking a receiver when you really need to build the interiors of this line. And then if you can't take Maui Noah because of the back, you can't take McCoy because Delane is gone, because I don't believe Delane. Of course, you take Delane if he's there, but I don't believe he's going to make it to 11. I really don't. Usually, top corners don't make it to 11. Usually there's somebody inside the top 10 that needs a shutdown corner. So I just kind of don't expect him to be there. That's why I haven't, he would be my selection after Bain and Maui Noah, but I don't believe he's going to be there. So that's why I kind of leave it out. So McCoy would be the guy that I like next. But if he's going to have a butt plug and he's got defective cartilage on top of coming back from the ACL, I don't need this. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so that's where, these are the things that we must know about. And, all of us don't know about all these little, because of HIPAA and everything, they usually don't talk a lot about the injuries. You have to be very careful when you report it. Okay. Because obviously it's kind of a touchy situation, but if you report it, you better have the proof. And if you're not challenged, it's because obviously there's some truth to it. You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem with this pick. It's maligned right now because I don't know. Is that corner really a problem? Is Maui Noah really a problem? What happens if Bain is not there? Then where do you go? Because I don't think Caleb Downs is going to land to Miami. I would love to take Caleb Downs. I love Caleb Downs. He's one of my favorite players in the whole draft. But I don't think he's going to fall to 11. I don't really want Makai. I don't want Jordan Tyson at 11. I get it. You need a receiver. And the kid needs a receiver. But if you can't keep him upright, he's not going to find the receiver. And rookie receivers are very hit and miss early on. There's a good chance you can develop them into a good player, but that first year, a lot of times rookie receivers struggle. And if your team is not very good, that's also not going to be a great situation for him, overall. By the way, John Eric Sullivan should bring his dad back to be this receivers coach. I don't know if Jerry wants to work because obviously he's done more than enough and he's retired and he can enjoy his life because they really need a great receivers coach. I hope they have one. I'm sure Jerry will be watching who the receivers coach is, overall. I'm sure he'll be very critical of it. Hell of a receivers coach, man. Jerry Sullivan, great receivers coach, man. Great receivers coach. That's why I have some hope for John, because his dad knows his shit, dude. His dad's a good dude and old school coach. Love his dad. What else we have here? Yes. Marty Lyons. Yeah. That's the guy that ended Dwight Stevenson's career. And Shula busted through that the Jets locker room and got in Marty Lyons' face and mother effed him up and down for ruining Dwight's career that day. Yeah, Shula was pissed, dude. Pissed. Eric says, morning, do you think drafting a wide receiver and tight end instead of doubling down on wide receiver is better? Or am I wrong for thinking that? Eric, I don't mind getting a wide receiver or a tight end, but if you didn't build up the lines, none of this means anything. So I need you to build up the lines. You don't have an offensive line yet. We don't. Austin Jackson can play if he stays healthy, and if he doesn't, do you have any depth? You don't even have a right guard, and then Sabanaya has not even turned the corner. I would not go into this season with a lot of confidence, and that's why I would not get my skill positions so early and not take care of the fat guys. And by the way, it's not the Green Bay way to take receivers early. But then again, he hasn't done some things the Green Bay way. So we'll see. Like I said, we have no idea what these guys are going to do. They now get to run the show. And all of a sudden, when you start running the show, you might start doing something different than what you planned, than what you thought of. Look at Chris Greer. He screwed himself because he wanted to make everybody else happy. And if you're the general manager, dude, you're the general manager. Your coaches can make a suggestion, but they cannot dictate what goes on because it's going to fall on you. So if you think that player is better than the one the coach wants, you have to tell the coach, no, this guy's better and you need to coach him. Because if I'm going down, I'm going to go down picking the player I think is better, not the guy you think, and then I get blamed for it. And by the way, a lot of that has gone on with the Dolphins for years. That's one thing I do like about this John Eric Sullivan situation. It seems like he's the final say. He's the guy. And if he's willing to be the guy, I hope so. I hope so. Because you cannot have a general manager that is trying to make everybody else happy. That will be a disaster. You need to be the guy to make all the final decisions. If you don't do that, then, So, what can I tell you? All right. Let's rock and roll. David Furones is ready with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, excited. Finally get around to this draft. 2 more sleeps before the draft.
Thank the Lord, bro.
We've been talking about it enough.
No, and everything else sucks, dude. Like, there's nothing, no Heat, no Panthers. It's like, it's horrible to do sports talk radio now, dude. Absolutely horrible. There's like nothing. So
we were spoiled for a couple of years with the Panthers, but hopefully they get back on that track.
Where are you at? Right. Well, the Panthers will be fine, dude. I'm not worried about that. It was a bad luck year. That's all it is. The Heat are bad, but the Panthers is just a bad luck year. They'll be back, thank God. The Heat, I don't know if they'll ever make it back. Well, that unfortunately
ever.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. What lasts forever, my brother?
Well, you're trying to say that this would last forever, that they may never get back, that sucking would last forever. I'm trying to say, I mean, I could see scenarios where Pat Riley's not going out quietly. He ain't going out like that. Like 06 Game 3, Dwayne Wade. We ain't going out like that.
Did we say that with Shula?
Did
we say that with Belichick? Did we say that with Chuck Noll? Did we say that with Tom Landry?
He's going to go down swinging is all.
Well, they're going to go
down. Period. Jesus.
The beauty of my show is that it's the truth. Okay? Everything comes to an end, kid. Everything. Nobody lasts forever. Dean Smith doesn't last forever. John Wooden doesn't last forever. Everything has an expiration date. Everything. Belichick had an expiration date. It was called Tom Brady. Okay? There's an expiration date for everyone and anyone, dude. Everyone loses it at one point or another, and it's time to move on. It's Michael Jordan. He got too old. It's over. Whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're an organization, you go through a generation with certain people, and then you're going to have to kind of turn it over again, and somebody else will have to resurrect it. But nothing lasts forever, dude. Every run ends, period. And the Heat run is over, bro. It's been over for a while. The problem is we were fooled with the facade of the bubble and the injury years, that 1 year where everybody was injured perfectly for them to get to the finals, and then they got their asses kicked. That was all a facade. It wasn't real. They were never going to win anything. And now the worst part is everybody thought that that's going to be the norm. Oh, well, yeah, if we're in the play-in, we can still make it to the finals. That's not the norm, dude. And go look at all the moves now. The Heat can't make any moves anymore. Pat Riley doesn't bring any more whales anymore. He hasn't brought a whale since Shaq. That's the last time he brought a whale. All the other whales were brought by Wade.
Okay, because that's how you're detailing that. I was going to say, I mean, the big three still did come together.
That's the facts, my brother. Okay, If Riley had any
Jimmy, okay, you're saying Wade with Jimmy as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that story's notorious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and by the way, with Shaq, with LeBron and Bosh, it's proven when they asked to move here, they could have come here straight up. But they forced Riley to trade for him so they can keep their bird rights and pay him more. Riley had no juice. And when Bosh went to Houston for less money, he only came back because Miami was willing to pay him the max. The team that set him up for 2 titles, they had to pay him more to come back from Houston.
That's right. Yeah. I almost forgot about that one. That Bosh was almost a Houston Rocket. Yeah.
Riley has no juice, bro. Riley has no juice. It's over. It's been over for a while. The only thing is, I'm the only guy in town that has the balls to actually say it. That's all. You know what I mean? Just like when Dale Talon was done, I was telling everybody, you need to can his ass, get him out of here. And it took about 1.5 years for people to finally start saying Dale Talon needs to go. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of the way it goes on this show. Every run ends, dude. I'm 60 now. I'll be 60 in October. I've watched it my entire life. It doesn't matter who you are. Your time will come. In sports, that's just kind of the way it is. And the time has come for the Miami Heat. And it's proven over and over again. Look at them. They don't adjust. They don't adjust. Everybody else tanks. Houston, OKC, San Antonio. Who else has been tanking? And only Philadelphia failed. But a bunch of other teams are all succeeding from tanking and reloading. And they oh, no, we're above that. No, we can't do that. Why, dude? Why? That's the only way you're going to get a star. They're not coming to you anymore. So what are you going to go after a broken down Kawhi now? Come on, man. So every run ends. And the question, we spoke about it on the show, is Sully and half the guys to kind of turn the corner. So that's going to be the challenge now, to find out if you can find the people that can turn the Dolphins around finally, because that's what they've done over and over again, whether it's Jimmy or Parcells or Saban. You've tried the big names, you've tried the small names, you've tried the no names, but you're trying to see who has that next run in them.
Yeah, and that's the big question that they will begin to answer this week. So we're going to start to see that first draft class come together. That'll be their first chance to build a core. They got a few pieces that they inherit as building blocks with Patrick Paul left tackle, Aaron Brewer at center, Devon Achane at running back as a game-changing playmaker who you don't have to view in the box of a traditional running back. You can do different things with him, and he can affect game plans so many different ways. And Jordan Brooks as a linebacker. Now you got to – so a lot of those like center or linebacker, not considered the premium positions, running back, they're interchangeable by a lot of measures. Now you got to really start to hit on these premium positions of pass rusher. Patrick Plott, left tackle, is a premium position, but pass rusher, corner, get a big time wide receiver for Malik Willis to throw to. Address the right side of the offensive line, so Malik Willis has that at his disposal. I know you're big on that as well. So you got some D linemen, young D linemen that you try to develop. See how many of those other young guys you can bring up, and then see what you have going into next year, where then you can start to be a little more aggressive, finding other pieces in free agency, and then put a second draft class together, and then really start to judge this thing going into year 2 when this rookie class already has one full season under its belt.
Let me ask you, are you worried about the Maui Noah report?
So teams are concerned about like his lower back thing, right? That one. Yeah, I mean, not too much. I don't think it's a huge deal. If anything, I mean, maybe that's what same way with Ruben Bain and his short arms, and maybe that's what gets him out of the top 10. Because I would see him otherwise if there were no concerns. He's a top 10 pick. Where I've had him at times going 3 to the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of people say, well, one of those top 2 pass rushers between Arvo Reese and David Bailey has to go there. There's other spots like if it's Cleveland, so Kansas City could use help on its offensive line, but maybe this is what bumps him out of that top 10. And same with Bain, it could land right into the Dolphins' lap, because of this. So
yesterday on the show, I talked about that because Marino had the cocaine rumors, partying, had a bad senior season, falls to Miami. Tunsil has the bong, falls to Miami. Bain now with short arms and the sad, the tragic accident, which was a flat out accident, had nothing to do with delinquency or anything. And so Miami, luckily, has that knack of players falling to them because of some controversy or some rumor. And so that's why I ask you about his, because I was talking about this. I want Bain, obviously, and then I want Maui Noah, but then I also love Jamard McCoy because I don't believe Delane is going to be there. I think Sonny and Delane are gone before the 11th spot. So I don't believe they're going to be there. So I like McCoy. But now I find out about this, this butt plug of his, and it's a bone plug. I'm just having fun with it.
Okay. I was going to say.
Apparently he's got, because it's, did you read about it?
The report, the teams are concerned over this as well.
Right. McCoy could need another surgery to repair a bone plug in McCoy's knee. The bone plug was used to repair cartilage defect. So now you're talking about cartilage defect, butt plugs, and now, and you're already coming back from an ACL. I'm out.
This isn't the ACL, but it's
but I'm out. I'm out. It's too much. Like cartilage defect now, that scares the shit out of me already. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going Vega now. I'm going the Iona guy. And Ione, how is it pronounced?
Ioane.
Okay, your mama. I'm going with Vega, your mama, as my third pick now. Protect the kid. Because if they believe in Malik Willis, bro, please protect his ass. So if you can't get Maui Noah, then I'm going to go with Vega.
This is potentially concerning. Now, I also saw that it's that doing this was the Dallas Cowboys doctor as well, which then you start to wonder, okay, is there some some type of conspiracy going on to assure that he's there at 12 or even 20? Because I had him as a mock to 20 in our combined mock draft, me and Perk. Are these types of games at play here in the final week of the draft? So I like a lot of what I see from. I'm also going to go back to Jermon McCoy's pro day, and he looked fantastic the way he moved around. So I felt like that kind of eased any concerns. And then it's kind of like, oh, this week before the draft, now this pops up as something in the news cycle. So I'm not sure how to feel about it. I know, like, my mind goes there, like, when I see it, like same way as you said, like, oh, now just stay away from him. And look, preferably, I don't have to go to the point of does it come down to Jermon McCoy? We're someone between, like, my top, like, realistic ones that I think could be there are Bain, Maui Noah, Delane. I think, like, whoever's there, like, I feel like one of them's got to be there. And then if not, if all are taken, and then now there's, like, some people who believe Jordan Tyson will be in the top 10. So that's another receiver, assuming Carnell Tate is also a top 10 receiver. Then, I mean, does that mean Caleb Downs falls into the Dolphins' lap, which then I would take him as well. So hopefully it doesn't get to the point.
Bro, if Delane falls to 11, I'm taking you to lunch.
If Delane falls to 11, you too.
It
better be a nice lunch.
usually those badass corners, they don't last that long, bro. Somebody takes them early, or they even trade in for them. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see those two guys lasting to 11. And especially if you are worried about the other two guys with any kind of injury, for sure you're taking those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I just, like, man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But everything I see from Delane, people love him so much. I don't know how he falls all the way to 11. That's my problem with that.
It's just there's going to be someone between Bain, Maui Noah, because you have, all right, the first two edge rushers, which some people call Arvell Reese, an off-ball linebacker, plus Mendoza. Jeremiah Love's going to go somewhere in there. Two Ohio State defenders or the two, like, linebacker and safety. We already have Arvell Reese accounted for. So Downs and Sonny Styles. At least one receiver is going to go, like, maybe two. Maybe one of the other tackles who's more of a left tackle, if it's Monroe Freeling, could go up there between Fano. If it's someone is going to be available. Out of players I would take before him, which it would be. Downs, if he's there, would just be like, okay, you're going to let us have this playmaking or game-changing safety. Like, all right, fall right into our lap. That's fine. Bain, Maui Noah, Delane, like, one of them's got to be there. And if not, then you're probably picking you could pick the number 2 receiver in the draft right then and there. So,
right. How do you feel about that? Because I almost, here's where I'm torn. I don't want a receiver that early, because I really feel like you better build up your lines. Your lines aren't good enough yet, and that kid needs protection. So I think it's really important to get and there's some pretty good linemen there that you can get, either a guard or a tackle, that you can get in that part of the draft. So I'd rather you get if you can't get a pass rusher, get a lineman. If you get a receiver, then I almost feel like you're patchworking on the back end there. And man, if Malik doesn't have the guys in front of him, you're not going to be able to figure, it doesn't matter what receiver you drafted. If Malik is running for his life, dude, it's going to be so much harder for him to do his job. So I just feel like, I get it. You might get yourself a good receiver, but you're also might be doing yourself a real service.
But it's also not like the Dolphins' O-line is one that needs 4 new starters. You've got 2 guys there in Patrick. You got your left tackle, so you got the blind side protection. in Patrick Paul. You have Aaron Brewer, who might be the best center in the league. And then those are the guys you can count on. But those are just like solid guys where they are very reliable. Austin Jackson needs to stay healthy, but you need a future right tackle. That's why Maui Noah would be a great pick. Where if Austin Jackson is healthy next season, you could slide Maui Noah right into right guard. And then if Jackson gets hurt again, or you just realize you can't hold him accountable for the future, yes, now you go Maui Noah as a future at right tackle. And yeah, I mean, I would get it. Ioane, preferably if they could trade down at that point, because if you have all these guys that we talk about unavailable, I think you got to look for a trade down. Look for a trade down, acquire more picks, which I think John Eric Sullivan, as he mentioned in his pre-draft press conference last week, the Dolphins would be more likely to go that route than to trade up. So if that's the case, then you could still probably land a Ioane with maybe you grab an extra pick that's like in between your next pick, and then you maybe end up with like a Keldrick Falk as well, who's kind of like in this sweet spot where he's not. It's too late for him at 30. It's too early for him at 11. I feel a little bit the same way as with Ioane. So I just feel like 11 is very high there, but I would love him if he was a Dolphin for sure. But it's just at 11, it just feels a little bit high.
And I love your idea of at that point it probably does make sense to trade down a few spots, and then you're going to get the same kind of player. I totally understand your point.
It takes two to tango, though.
Right, and that's going to be the issue right there, because if you're trading into 11, it's because some of those players that we really want fell there, and so that's why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Delane falls there, you're going to get calls. Besides you taking Delane, you're going to get some calls like, hey, we'd like to move up, and so that's kind of the trick of the trade, overall. And if you are going to end up settling, let's say, for Ioane at 11, that's a chance where you could have traded down a couple of spots and still get him. So I totally understand what you're saying. It makes all the sense in the world. Even McCoy.
Depends on different teams' needs. So so if because there's going to be something either between the receivers, the tackles, cornerback potentially. There's going to be something there. So it depends on what another. So if maybe the Dolphins don't want to go receiver with their first pick and would rather maybe get Denzel Boston late in the first round, or someone else, Casey Concepcion late in the first round, and they don't want one of the top 3 receivers there, maybe another team is looking to move up for one of those receivers and wants, if it's Mekhi Lemon or Jordan Tyson, that's there at 11. But there's going to be a quality player there somewhere where the Dolphins could address a team need, which is most of the positions on the depth chart.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. They're going to have a definite chance at one hell of a player. What's you feeling anything right now? Like at 11, what's your gut tell you?
Well, I made an official prediction for the Sun Sentinel, and even though it hasn't worked this way in any mock draft that we've done, but neither the one that I have done, the one where Perk and I combined for it, I am saying that Ruben Bain slides out of the top 10, and he is the Dolphins' pick at 11.
Yeah, by the way, what do you think? You're any different? It's like a lottery, bro. Nobody really nails the mock. Like one year, the guy in Dallas, what's his name? That he did the draft every year, and one year he like nailed like 20-something picks out of 30 or something, and it was amazing. But that's just luck. Mocks are there to set you up for failure, dude. It's just, how are you going to think like 32 different men, and they're all put in different positions sometimes throughout the draft that you didn't expect them to be put in because of trades, because of rumors, because of whatever that ends up showing up that you don't know about, because we don't know all this information. Look at the McCoy kid. I like him, and I thought he was just coming back from an ACL, and all of a sudden we're talking about butt plugs now. And so it's just like, it's out of control here, So mocks are I've always hated mocks. I only did mocks for Miguel Escobar because he was a good dude at QAM. He ran our promotions. And because I got none but love for Miguel, he's the only one that could ask me for a mock, and I would have to do it only for him. But everybody else, whenever my program director would ask me for a mock, I'd tell them to go F themselves. Okay.
I mean, but no one's holding your feet to the fire on these picks. It's just to give people an idea of, all right, because this is how we know where people are more or less going to go in the draft is by reading up on all these mock drafts, analyzing different prospects, going through the exercise of what are these teams' needs compared to who might be there on the board. This is how we're so prepared to this point. And then, something's going to go differently. There's going to be a team that, like the Falcons drafting Michael Penix unexpectedly, that blows up everyone's boards. There's going to be all these surprises. Sure, a team trades up. Everyone's whole mock gets destroyed when Travis Hunter ends up in Jacksonville because of a trade with the Browns at number 2, and then that affects everything else for every other pick that follows. So but I mean, it's fun, and then this is how we kind of educate ourselves on these prospects and go through the exercise of getting to know them is by both reading the mock drafts and then doing them yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Let's see what ends up happening. What are you working on there in the Sentinel leading up to Thursday?
Yeah, I'll be previewing, just writing the overall preview of this draft for the Dolphins. I'm working on that today. And I put out a big file on all the South Florida high school football products who are in this draft. So got more than 20 names in there from Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, who, maybe you either did or didn't hear about them when they were prospects and recruits here. They ended up at colleges all across the country, and then now they're in this draft. So, refamiliarize yourself with some of those names. And, of course, we've got our mock drafts, predictions for Dolphins picks, all that. And you could go back through all the positional previews as well as you get yourself ready for this draft starting Thursday night.
Friday, we will have David back. We'll get his thoughts on the first 2 picks of the draft, and when we'll preview the second and third rounds here on the show. We'll be at Acura Pembroke Pines. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Don't forget, visit our friends at Welton Rayom if you're dealing with any kind of issues like bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Remember, if you have any damage to your home, your condo, your business, never, ever call the insurance company. You call Welton Rayom first. You explain your situation. They will send their adjusters. They will assess the damage, and then they attack the insurance company on your behalf. They're your offense. They're your defense. They're your bookend tackles. They get it all done for you. The only thing you've got to do is pick up a check at the office. That's kind of easy, right? 954-966-4646. So everything you've seen from John Eric Sullivan, you've heard the people say all the right things before. It seems to me like he says all the right things. What do you think? Is this guy prepared for this moment?
Now let's see if he does all the right things. So it's funny. This weekend I was out to dinner with some people, and then they were asking me about what the draft is like for me. And I said, I'll try to pre-write who guys that I think the Dolphins will draft for that first pick. But then with Chris Greer, I was wrong on all of them. I wasted a bunch of time writing up the guys who I thought made sense, and Chris Greer does something else. So we'll see if Sullivan goes and does what kind of just the simple thing that everyone kind of figures is the right thing. Let's see if he does it. When however the cards fall for the Dolphins going into 11 and then later at 30. Let's see if he just does what.
Nobody had Eric Kumaro, dude. Nobody had Ted effing Ginn. Nobody was sitting there going, what? Ted Ginn? I thought we were going to take Brady Quinn at that moment, or something different. Nobody had Ted Ginn. Nobody had Eddie Moore. Nobody had Jamar Fletcher. Okay? So, you're set up for failure trying to predict not what Chris Greer is going to do, what Don Shula is going to do. Jimmy Johnson picks Larry Shannon and tells us that he's going to be as good as Randy Moss, or he takes John Avery instead of taking, was it? I think that was the Moss deal. Yeah, he moved from 19, where he said he would have taken Vonnie Holliday instead of Randy Moss, down to the back end of the draft, and he ends up taking John Avery. So you weren't going to predict what Wanstead's going to do, what Greer's going to do, what Jimmy Johnson's going to do, what Flo is going to do. You're not going to be able to predict any of that, dude. That's life, my brother. That's like we can bring our conversation full circle from the beginning when I tell you that, I've watched this before. The Heat, it's over, bro. Their run is over. I know when it's over. It's over. The game has passed them by, unfortunately. And guess what? It happens to everybody, dude. It happens to everybody. So you trying to guess what general managers or coaches are going to do, you're going to lose every single time, my brother. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, well, I'll still try to go in prepared so that I have an article ready to go immediately for maybe the 3-4 most likely outcomes. I'm not going to overwork myself for picks that I don't know are actually the picks, but then we'll see if I'm scrambling once the pick is made, or if I'm just sitting pretty with something that's already just ready to go and I just throw it into the file. But I mean, that's how I'm going to be spending my all those hours Thursday as I'm waiting for Thursday night before I go out to the facility. Is just, I got nothing else to do, so I'm going to get some of those prepared. Later Wednesday, I'm going to write a column on Fernando Mendoza being the number one pick, and of a Hispanic, Latino, Cuban American from Miami being the number one pick, the impact of that potentially for the NFL. So that's another cool angle I'm thinking of, not related to the Dolphins. But, once I get that out of the way and I got nothing else to do before the draft, unless there's news, Wednesday night, all the hours before the draft Thursday, that's kind of what I'm going to be filling my time with, is just being prepared for any scenario.
And by the way, this is the worst for all of us, because we don't know these guys. We don't know what their habits are. We don't know what they normally like or don't like or whatever. You know what I mean? When I wanted to find out about offensive linemen, I had a little trick. Okay? And it was a Green Bay trick. So if I went to the Senior Bowl, if I went to the East-West Shrine, if I went to the College Gridiron Classic, if I went to wherever I went to, Las Vegas, whenever I went to any of those off-season bowls, do you know who I would always look for? Ted Thompson. And why did I look for Ted Thompson? Because Ted Thompson was standing always where all the offensive linemen were, on all the drills and all the one-on-ones and all that. So I'd stand there, and I'd stand a few feet away, and I'd look at what Ted Thompson was looking at. And I'd look at the lineman, and I'd see him take notes and all that. And I'm not looking at his notes or anything, but I'm kind of looking at what he's looking at. You know what I mean? And so I would find certain coaches that I knew would gravitate to certain positions. And when I knew that a guy was a big receivers guy, I would then stand there or maybe talk to them or whatever. Ted was very dry. He was very hard to actually befriend. He was difficult. But sometimes with other scouts or coaches, that's what I would notice, that every time I would go to different places, I would notice habitually where they would be standing, because I could tell what kind of players they really liked or they were looking at, whether it was on the offensive or the defensive side. Ted Thompson for the Green Bay Packers was an enormous offensive line hawk, like every time. And so I knew, okay, let me see what Ted likes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Did you figure out any way to identify the players that he actually liked when he was watching O-line, or it was just that he was watching the line?
I never befriended him, but I did befriend others. Okay. And there are things that they'll tell you about, does he have an ass? Okay. Seriously. I'm serious. If the guy's got a flat ass, they worry about leverage. If the guy's
glute strength, that's absolutely.
if they got a big ass, that means they got big thighs. They're going to have much more leverage. They love looking at contact also, because the lineman that blinks on the contact, they don't like that. They like the lineman that keeps their eyes open on contact, because they're going to get the spin. They're going to get, because if you blink, the second you blink, that's where you miss when he does a swim move or some kind of a twist or something like that. All these kind of little things. But that's when you befriend them, then they start teaching you about what they see in wide receivers, what I don't like. Look, he's rounding out his routes or whatever it is. And they start pointing out, yeah, I just never got it from Ted Thompson, but I did get it from several other offensive line coaches or offensive coordinators that would be looking at offensive linemen. Because that's what whenever you befriend them, that's what I would suggest to you, is that ask them about their position and what they love that shit. They love sharing that kind of stuff. You know, because they don't have to even necessarily tell you exactly about that player or this player, but they can tell you habitually what they like about, players, or they don't like about players. That was always fun. But Ted Thompson was a guy that I always used to follow around and say, okay, Ted, what you doing here? Let's see. And sometimes there were linemen that were in the East-West and went over to the Senior Bowl and got elevated. And then if I saw him kind of again on top of that, I was like, okay, Ted likes this guy a lot. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean, think about the history of the Green Bay Packers. Okay, before Ted Thompson and after Ted Thompson, all their quarterbacks step into places where the line is going to take care of them, and they're constantly drafting offensive linemen and developing offensive linemen, because they truly believe in that, dude. Because that's the only way your quarterback's ever going to survive. And it's really smart. We're just because we're not smart here, other places they kind of get it.
Well, I mean, now we have someone that comes from Green Bay and has worked under Ted Thompson. So
let's hope he has the same kind of habits. All right, my brother. We will catch up on Friday morning. Enjoy the draft on Thursday, my friend. And the food has improved over the years, right?
Oh yeah. They have a good spread on draft night. Actually, all the days of the draft. So I'm excited about that. I don't have to worry about several meals the next few days.
There were years in the past where they just had like those sandwiches, and I was like, "Come on, bro, what's wrong with you people?" And then I got to go out and go get something to eat because like I'm going to eat a sandwich from you, and I got La Spada right across the street. Get the hell out of here with that shit. I'm going to La Spada. You know what I'm saying? Because they would give you those little lame sandwiches in a little box, and it was like, come on, bro.
Okay, so you're talking about back like at Davie. I see. I wasn't on the beat, but I filled in a couple of times, and I remember like it was the same sandwiches, right? Like oftentimes it was just like the same exact ones.
I haven't done it in over 10 years.
Yeah. Back then I'm asking about.
Maybe 15 now. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. No, because the food is good. Food is always on point at Dolphins headquarters.
That's what I was told, that it's improved, but I remember back when I was doing it, the food wasn't that impressive. Like I have to leave and go right across the street because there in Davie we actually had all kinds of places to eat at.
Right, there's a whole strip of restaurants that all right there by the 595. Yeah,
I'd say that saved our asses, bro. Especially La Spada, because I can eat La Spada practically every day of my life, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
Those subs are amazing. All right, man. We will catch up on Friday, my brother. I appreciate you immensely.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. Thank you all for hanging in there. As always, we appreciate David Furones. Oh, man. Let's get to our 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. All right. Don't forget, if you need custom printing and embroidery, my guy, Alan Blanco, is the best, bro. They know how to get it done. 786-618-1443. Many of you over the last few years have called for all kinds of stuff, hats and uniforms. The most popular thing are T-shirts, actually, like, 100, 200, 300, because you're going on some kind of field trip or you're having a big old festival or something, some party, and you want everybody wearing the same shirt. You can do all of those kind of things at 3A Graphics, and you do it all by, Zoom and all that. 786-618-1443. They can have it shipped out to you right away. Wednesday night, Inter Miami back in action. They will visit Real Salt Lake at 9:30. Miami is plus 165 on the money line. Real Salt Lake is plus 130. Wednesday at 7, Fort Lauderdale United will take on the DC Power at 7 o'clock. Remember, you can catch it on Channel 10 and also on Peacock. And don't forget, they're going to have a watch party at Big Whiskey's American Restaurant and Bar. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. 2-for-1 drinks, free appetizer with the purchase of 2 entrees. So go cheer on the ladies. Last night in the NBA, the Cavs over the Raptors, 115-105. Cleveland is 2-0 in the series. Atlanta steals one against the Knicks, 107-106. That is tied at 1. T-Wolves over the Nuggets, 119-114. That series is tied at 1. Tonight at 7, it's the 76ers taking on the Celtics. Celtics are favored by 14.5. The over and under is 215.5. 76ers plus 700 on the money line. The Celtics are minus 1,100 on the money line. That is crazy. 8 o'clock, the Blazers are at the Spurs. Spurs are leading 1-0 in that series. By the way, Boston up 1-0 in the other series. Spurs up by 11.5. They are favored by 11.5. Over and under is 219. Spurs minus 550 on the money line there. 10:30, Lakers are leading that series 1-0, but Houston is favored by 4.5. Kevin Durant is a game-time decision. Also, Victor Wembanyama yesterday was named Defensive Player of the Year, youngest player at 22 to ever win the award. And some breaking news, Billy Donovan is stepping down and leaving the Bulls as head coach. Is he going back to Florida because the Florida guy could be also leaving? I don't know. But apparently if Steve Kerr leaves Golden State, the owners for Golden State are going to steal the Gators coach. To steal the Gators coach, does Billy Donovan return to Florida? Since he's leaving Chicago, or is he going to another NBA team? I don't know. But that is your 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. All right. Don't forget, smash the hell out of the like button. Please. Gets the algorithms going. You can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate it. Thank you all out there. Send in your questions, comments on Cash App or Venmo. Let me see what you got here on the chat board. Jonas Savanaya, not a terrible pick. Nearsighted opinion. We don't know yet. Jonas Savanaya is just a rookie, bro, and lots of linemen struggling first year, maybe two sometimes. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for linemen. I'm not ready to give up on Jonas Savanaya, but I do know this. You can't say you can count on him. We all know Austin Jackson can play, right? But can we count on him? That's the problem. So you only have 2 guys you can count on. Look, man, I'm super consistent on this. I may not believe in Malik Willis, but I've learned this. If you believe in Malik Willis, John and Jeff, please protect the kid. Because it's just the right thing to do for any quarterback. And if you want a young quarterback to survive, oh my God, please. So that's all I ask. If you want to invest in this guy, you think he can turn the corner, because they clearly think he is, protect him, man. So I'm not sure yet about Savanaya yet. Until he turns a corner, then we can feel better. But I'm not ready to give up on him. Oh, what else? Let's see. Fanu will be an awful pick. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. All right. What else do we have going on? Jimmy Garoppolo considering retirement. Did you see that? You know, the thing about Jimmy Garoppolo that I think has hurt Jimmy Garoppolo his entire career. It's not that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have the talent to play in the NFL. He has the talent to play in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have the heart to dedicate himself to playing the quarterback position. He's soft. It's what it is. He's a pretty boy. He's soft. He's made a lot of money, and he doesn't have to really kill himself anymore. If he saved, most of it, he'll be fine for the rest of his life. So the NFL Network is now reporting that he is weighing retirement. Ian Rappaport says Jimmy G, who started 64 games in his 12-year career, has made $156 million in all. He's 34 and mulling a final decision. And he should haul ass. He's never been the guy that is a dog. And if your quarterback is not a dog, okay, wants to be a dog, like say whatever you want about Tua, but the dude wants to try to play. And he does crazy shit that he shouldn't do or whatever, stuff that Jimmy Garoppolo would never try. And stuff that Tua should never do in his freaking life, but the dumbass does it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's different when you watch a guy that doesn't have the body for it and should not be doing that and is doing it. You know what I mean? And then you got a guy like Jimmy who will not do anything, will not risk anything. I think that's what stopped him from actually crossing that threshold of becoming a really good quarterback. The fact that he has no edge to him, and every quarterback has to have an edge, bro. Everyone. Ryan Tannehill had an edge. He played tough. He wasn't good at it. It's a whole different ball game. But the kid was fearless. I'll say that about Ryan Tannehill. Fearless. He's so fearless, he had no idea that he had a defensive end coming in at him to hit him. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy G has no edge whatsoever. None. And that, to me, is his problem. Alex Smith had an edge to him. He got his leg absolutely mangled, and somehow or another, he rehabbed to come back to play. That's an edge. Jimmy G is not that guy, bro. He's never been that guy. Ever. He's the guy that if he would have had the hip injury that Tua had, done. He would have never come back. Never. Never. If he would have had a couple of the nasty concussions that Tua's had, all that shit, he doesn't come back from that. He doesn't have any edge whatsoever. None. Does not matter. This dude, he wasn't a franchise quarterback. Played with the edge. Played with it. Fearless. Tough dude. Good leader, by the way. Good leader. Just wasn't a good enough quarterback. But if Jimmy G had Jay Fiedler's balls, Jimmy G would be a pretty good quarterback. He would be a franchise guy, and he would have been leading a team every year on his own. Jimmy G had no – he's a GQ boy. It's kind of the way I look at him. Like a pretty boy. No edge whatsoever. And quarterbacks have to have it, bro. They have to have it because they live in chaos the entire time. So, anyway, let's see here. Some people just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. Anyway, what else do we have going on? Oh, let me do a little music, by the way. Let's get into a little musica. Let's get into musicians born on this date. All right. On the 21st. Hold on. If we're going to do this, we've got to do it properly, Now, let's do birthdays. On April 21st. John Mayer, born in 1960, the drummer with the Buzzcocks. Michael Timmins with the Canadian alternative country and folk band Cowboy Junkies. Born in 1959, he is the guitarist. Robert Smith, The Cure, the frontman, the genius behind it all. And he can still sing great. He still sounds like he did in the 80s. Born in 1959. Bless that man. If you get a chance to see The Cure down the stretch here, wherever you're at in the world watching the show, go do it, man. Mike Barson, keyboardist from one of the best ska bands in the world, Madness, One Step Beyond, born in 1958. Paul Davis, a guy that when you look at Paul Davis and you say, that's the guy that sings I Go Crazy? No. It's interesting that back in the 70s, every dude that sung a love song looks like he was a hippie from Woodstock. And you're like, well, wait a minute, bro. You're supposed to be playing like hard rock or something, or you're supposed to be playing Southern rock or something. You're singing a love song? Like Paul Davis, 69, Love Affair, I Go Crazy. There's he had another song, and you're like, when you see Paul Davis, you're like, that the voice does not match the face. Oh, bless you, my brother. Born in 1948. Sadly, we lost him in 2008. Alan Warner from the British band The Foundation, born in 47. The amazing Iggy Pop, still around, still jamming. James Osterberg, known as Iggy Pop. And please put on a shirt, Iggy. You passed the stage of playing without a shirt like decades ago, bro. Kind of looks awkward when I watch you up there without a shirt. Anyway, bless him. He's still with us, born in 1947. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Let's move over to famous people. Could have some musicians in there that weren't mentioned. We shall see. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they have passed away, unfortunately. All right. Needed to refresh. Here we go. Oh, actor Anthony Quinn, born in 1915. Britain's Queen Elizabeth II, born in 1926. Actor, filmmaker Charles Grodin, born in 1935. Midnight Run. He was really good in that one. Good in a lot of other movies, too. Let's see. Musician Patti Lupone, born in 49. She's 77 today. Tony Danza, taxi driver, boxer, born in 51. He's 75. Actress Andie MacDowell, 1958. She is 68 today. Boy, back in the day, Andie MacDowell, whoo, what a looker, man. And St. Elmo's Fire, oh, beautiful. Let's see what else. Comedian actor Rob Riggle, born in 70. He is 56. Actor James McAvoy, born in 79. He's 47. Tony Romo, born in 80. He's 46. TV personality Terrence J, born in 82, he's 44. Actress Emma Tremblay, born in 2004, she's 22. And that is birthdays today on the 21st of April. All right, it is time to move over to music history. What happened on the 21st in music history? We start off in 61, where the Beatles debuted at the Cavern Club in Liverpool, England. In 62, Elvis Presley started a 2-week run at number one on the U.S. singles charts with Good Luck Charm, his 5th U.S. number one in the 60s. In 67, working at Abbey Road Studios in London, the Beatles completed the sessions for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Let's see. In 79, Amy Stewart, You Better Knock, Knock, Knock on Wood, hit number one. In 82, The Clash had to cancel a tour with Joe Strummer when he disappeared for 3 weeks. He was eventually found living on the streets in Paris. In 84, Bananarama released her self-titled second album. It features Cruel, Cruel Summer, Now You've Gone. In 84, Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now, went to number one on the Hot 100, giving Phil Collins his first solo chart topper. He would have 6 more. Great song. Great song. Wow. In 86, and he looks like you would sing a ballad, you know what I mean? But when you look at Paul Davis, you're like, Shinehead O'Connor started a 4-week run at number one on the U.S. singles charts with her version of the Prince song, Nothing Compares to You. In 90, on this date, Paul McCartney appeared before 184,000 fans in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. At the time, it was the largest audience ever to attend a performance by a single rock act. In 92, on this date, The Cure released their 9th studio album, Wish, featuring their hit song, Friday, I'm in Love. It's the most commercially successful album of the band's career. Pretty cool that they released it on Robert Smith's birthday. In 2001, Peter Buck, guitarist for REM, was arrested for being drunk on an aircraft and for accosting British Airways personnel following a flight from Seattle to Heathrow Airport in London. Nearly a year later, Buck was cleared of all charges. In 2003, EMI and Universal Music sued file-sharing service Napster for copyright violations. God, I miss Napster. That was great. You know how many live U2 concerts I got from that? All over the world. It's awesome. I put them on CDs. It's fantastic. So good. In 2008, soul singer, songwriter Al Wilson died of kidney failure at the age of 68. Wilson had a number of U.S. hits, including The Snake in 68, Show and Tell, It's Just a Game We Play in 74. Great song, Show and Tell. Show me and tell me that you feel the same way too. Great song, man. Great fucking song. In 2017, the great Greta Van Fleet released her debut EP, Black Smoke Rising, and it features the singles Highway Tune and Safari Song. Let's see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the other list. Oh, look, they got the Paul Davis one. The other song was Cool Night. So as I Go Crazy, 65, Love Affair, and Cool Night. Just let me hold you by the fire. That's it. Cool Night. Michael Franti is 60 today. That wasn't on the list. And that's what happened today in Musica history. All right. Oh, man. Let's see what we got. Need my Lightning to win tonight. It looks like they don't have to. Run might be over for the NBA. Sucks. Let's see. What else? Big O, about 3 to 4 years ago, we want to turn Miami Dolphins around for life. Yeah, every couple of years, we want to turn the Dolphins around for life. You know, we hope, we pray, right? That Saban's a guy, that Parcells a guy, that Jimmy's a guy, that Philbin's a guy, that Gase is the guy, that whatever. You know, the only time I didn't think it was going to be the guy right away was when they hired Mike Tannenbaum. God, I remember, and this is the fan bullshit that people play. You know what I mean? I remember having to argue with Channing on the air about, well, maybe he's different now, because playing the fan bullshit, like, oh, give it a chance because it's harmless to do that. You know what I mean? But I wasn't having any of that. That the second they were hiring Mike Tannenbaum, I was like, forget it, bro. This is a disaster. I wasn't going to, I don't play that. Homie, don't play that. You know what I mean? That's radio bullshit that they do. I don't do any of that. And so we keep hoping that somebody is going to take over and get it done. And I'm with you most of the time. That's one of the times where I did not give it a chance whatsoever from the get-go. Him and Joe Philbin. Those are two hires that I shot down right away. Oh, and the other one was Ryan Tannehill, the draft. Those are three that when they made it, right away I was completely against them. I was against Joe Philbin, I was against Tannenbaum, and I was against Ryan Tannehill. 3 for 3 on that. But all the other ones, I didn't want Tua. I wanted Tristan Wirfs. It's there. The video's there. I said, if you draft Tua, you got to deal with the injuries. But I went aboard because the kid can sling the ball if you can stay healthy. But he can't stay healthy, especially when he does stupid shit on his own. So I'm done with giving some things a chance sometimes, or most of the time. A couple times I don't. Now it's just I am in the wait and see mode, man. That's where I'm at. You got to prove it to me now. From here on out, you got to prove it to me. You got to get me excited. Is the quest. Now, I am no longer excited at all. You got to get me excited. Prove to me you can draft, you can coach, you can develop, all of that. I know you're not the Marlins. You can spend. You'll keep your guys. If you can draft and develop and you have the right people, you have the owner that's going to sign whatever you need. So I don't mind about that. On the baseball side, that's never going to happen. So that's a whole different ballgame. There's no hope there whatsoever. What else? I would like to get mad if the Dolphins drafted all dime and O-line and cornerback. I just hope that they build the lines, my friend. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. Please build the offensive and defensive lines. We got it. That's the only way this franchise will move forward, and get it done. So Jay, by the way, is Sean will have the wrestlers tomorrow because he'll be with us. But yeah, I don't do the wrestlers. So Jay Gelfin send me in wrestlers. He says Angelo Savoldi was born in 1914. Axel Rotten was born in 71. Brutus Beefcake, born in 57. He's 69. Still with us. Dutch Bill Carr, born in 87. He is 39. Jay Lethal, born in 85. He is 41 today. And Nikki Cross, born in 89. She is 37 today. Those are the wrestlers. What the hell is this? I was just sent something here on the music side that looks pretty cool. CBGB Festival, Saturday, September 26, 2026, Morrissey, Patti Smith, Interpol, Sex Pistols, featuring Frank Carter, Bikini Kill, Agnostic Front, Bad Nerve, Buzzcocks, Circle Jerks, Mannequin Pussy, Violet Grow, Panic Shack, Jackie and Judy. And where is this? This is in Brooklyn, New York, under the K Bridge Park. September 26th on Saturday. Be there or be square. How about that? Interesting. If you're in New York, you've got a chance to see something there. Hopefully Morrissey shows up, by the way. CBGB Festival. That's pretty cool. Since the Warriors era is officially over, there you go. It's exactly what I was telling Furones. You know, because, Furones is young. He hasn't lived all this kind of stuff like I have. You know, I've lived a lot of life, so I've seen a lot of shit. And one thing that I do know, unfortunately, every run comes to an end. I don't care if you're the Chicago Bulls. I don't care if you're the Patriots. I don't care what it is, dude. Your run comes to an end. The Yankees, they had their run, and it was over. And they have not been able to recapture it again. It's just kind of the way it goes. Nothing lasts forever, dude. Nothing. That's what, remember, what did I tell you about the Panthers a couple of years ago? I said, embrace this shit. While we were heading for the second title, I told you guys, embrace this shit, because you never know. And look what happened this year. And hopefully, they get back on track again. But whenever you're a part of it at that moment, like I was with the Canes, like I was with the Dolphins, like I was with the Heat, and you were too, and all that, it will come to an end. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And when it does, a new shift will come, and then you hope that they can, get back on track with someone else. And the Dolphins haven't been able to ever find that again. And the Heat are now in the process of losing it. Like they have, pretty much, unfortunately. It's normal, folks. It's normal for runs to come and go. That's what's not normal, is that it lasts forever. That's just not the way it goes. It's not the way it goes. I doubt we draft interior defensive linemen high in the draft. You recall we went heavy on that position at last year's draft. Just offensive. Kosa, I want offense. If you went and signed this kid and you believe in him, then I am, dude, please block for him. Please protect the kid. Please. It's the only way you'll find out if the kid can actually play, and it's the only way you're going to actually have a productive offense. And we all know it. And when you don't have that offensive line, we over the last few years, sometimes we were able to put up some points and all that, but then when push came to shove, did we do any pushing? No, we got all the shoving. Because we roll around to the winter and we roll around in the playoffs, and that finesse ass offense can't run in the winter, can't run against the great defenses. So please, I don't need you to get defense all the way, but if you got to get offensive, you got to come away in the first 3 rounds. You need at least 2 offensive linemen, at least 2 offensive linemen. So yeah, got to do something about it. I understand your point on the defensive tackle part, but do they like the defensive tackles? What's their assessment? That's the other thing I don't know. We'll find out. Because if they draft somebody, then they're kind of questioning it too. Do the Spurs take the title this year? Oh, yeah. I think it's Spurs or OKC, dude. The East is not going to win. The West will win. The West has the two best teams. Your finals should be the Spurs and OKC. Whichever one gets to the finals wins. I can see OKC winning. I can see the Spurs winning. Either one. Let's hopefully I can't wait for that series because that's really the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals will not be as good as the Western Conference Finals. If we have a Western Conference Finals of San Antonio and OKC, that's your NBA Finals. That's it. Because they're the teams to beat in the NBA. Big O, why are the Steelers waiting on because they're at the quarterback, dude. And then the coach has a history with him. It's all ridiculous. It's not like you're going to win anything. The problem with the Steelers, they're like the Heat. They're too worried about being relevant right now when you're not even good enough to win at all. So what's the big deal about trying to win 10 games and get in the playoffs? The Steelers are a team that needs to kind of reset. And they refuse to do it. That's what's going on. They have a little bit of that heat disease. And I don't understand the heat disease at all. I really don't get the heat disease. Makes no sense. So that's just one that it's really, really weird. Let's see. Don't forget, folks, Cash App or Venmo anytime. You can send in donation and send in your questions, comments, and insults, and we always appreciate them immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Market, where are we at right now with the market? How are we doing? No, we're now down 103 points. It's still not bad. Considering the crap that's going on, I think the markets have been phenomenal, dude. Anyway, they're down right now. The Dow's down 103. The S&P is down 18 points. The NASDAQ is barely up about a half a point. As for Bitcoin, it is down. It is at 75,770. Whatever. It's not really that. It's not that bad overall. Anyway. All right, folks. We're out of here. We shall see you tomorrow. We appreciate all of you. We thank, of course, David Furones, the great Sean Stanley. We appreciate all of you out there for tuning in. Hit the like button. Don't forget to smash the like button whenever you're watching or any of the segments out there. Please hit the like button. We shall see you tomorrow from Subaru of Pembroke Pines at 11 a.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the